Hi guys, this is GSMDome.com and I'm here with the unboxing of the Motorola Edge 50. So after reviewing and unboxing the Motorola Edge 50 Pro, Edge 50 Ultra and Edge 50 Fusion, it's time for yet another handset. This time it's a mid-range affair and it's one that has military standard certifications, a Snapdragon 7 Gen 1 accelerated edition processor, 3 cameras at the backside, including a surprising telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom. It's got a large battery for the slim waistline, fast charging, and a OLED screen which is curved and bright. It's one of those phones which is very easy to handle on account of the fact that it's very slim, light, and also narrow. The fact that it has the 3x optical zoom camera makes it feel like a rival for the Realme 12 Pro Plus. Okay, so it's an unboxing, so let's see what's inside the box. By the way, pretty immersive screen with narrow bezels. Okay, so we got a plastic-free packaging here, and the color you see here is jungle green. First and foremost, we don't have a charger in the box. Then we have soy ink and recyclable plastic here. From what I've heard from Motorola, including the case, is made of special seeds and recycled materials. This one here is more of a, I would say, skinny case, like a bumper shield of sorts. Okay, and then we have the cable going from USB-C to USB-C. The key used to access the slots. When I say slots, I also mean that we're getting no microSD, by the way. We have this special energy grating, and of course the usual juridic info and manual. That's everything available here. Now the phone should be priced at around 300 euros in Europe, where it's launched, well, I think today, after it was available in India for a while already. India is a country where Motorola is doing very well, and they usually choose that turf to launch their handsets. Now back to the phone itself. I would have to say that being so narrow makes it very easy to wield with a single hand, which is always important for me and for people who have smaller hands. Now, things worth mentioning here. The fact that we can see the SAR value after inputting a code, so something like star 07, excuse me, this is the SAR value, so you're getting 0.88 watts per kilogram radiation for the head, 1.33 watts per kilogram for the body, and 2.66 watts per kilogram for the members, for the feet and the hands. Okay, with that out of the way, it's time to go further. It measures 7.8 millimeters in thickness, which is very light. I would actually say that it's even slimmer than 7.8 millimeters. It feels so. Has a discrete bump for the back camera and weighs a decent 180 grams. It's got curved glass at the front side, immersive curved glass at the front side, and surprisingly an aluminum frame, surprisingly for a mid-ranger. At the back we have eco leather, which is basically a sort of polymer which imitates leather in a grainy fashion. It's IP68 certified, but not only that, it's also military certified, military standard 810H, which means it can take extreme environmental conditions. The screen you're seeing here is, by the way, protected by Gorilla Glass 5. And aside from the jungle green, we have koala gray and peach fuzz, the color of the year 2024. It's comfy, it's got the usual skinny Motorola buttons, which some people may find to be uncomfortable, but on account of the aluminum frame, they're quite comfy this time around. Okay, so I think it's also time to discuss the display. So the panel you are seeing here, well, it's a 6.7-inch OLED, plastic OLED, with a resolution of 2712 over 1220 pixels. It's got HDR10 Plus, up to 1600 nits of brightness, and up to 1 billion colors shown. 120 Hz refresh rate and an amazing screen-to-body ratio, which goes past 92%. Now, if you go inside the phone, you can do some digging. From the settings app, you just have to go to about phone. You see here the storage, the RAM, and so forth. You got the device details and all that. You should remember that the processor is pretty special here. It's a Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 Gen 1 accelerated edition. Accelerated should mean that it's also good enough for gaming. 4nm octa-core with a GPU that's the Adreno 644. We're also lucky enough here in Europe to get it with 12 gigs of RAM and also 512 gigabytes of storage. Sadly, only UFS 2.2. There are also versions with 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. There's no microSD, just so you know. There's no audio jack either at the top or bottom, but we are getting, stereo speakers. This is the one at the bottom, and the one at the top is in the earpiece here. You can see the inscription Dolby Atmos here, and you can do some tweaking. If you go here to the Moto app, you go here, play, Dolby Atmos, and you'll be treated to some options like spatial audio, smart audio, music, movie, game, podcasts, custom. This graphic equalizer is also here. You can add extra treble, bass boost, vocal boost, surround virtualizer, and volume leveler are all part of the package. Plus a special landscape stereo. Now, aside from that, we have an in-display fingerprint scanner, which is placed here somewhere if you want to unlock the device in proper security. As far as the battery is concerned, it's a 5000 mAh unit, which is impressive for such a slim waistline. We don't have a charger in the box, but we are promised 68 watt wired charging via USB-C port at the bottom. There is even wireless charging at 15 watts, which surprises me. If you want to talk about the connectivity, we are dealing with Wi-Fi 6E here, as well as 5G, Bluetooth 5.2, GPS, GLONASS, and Galileo. There's also NFC, which you can see here, plus USB-C 2.0 port at the bottom side. Now, if you're switching to a white background, it's for the reason of seeing this cutout for the selfie camera, which is a usual 32 megapixel shooter. As usual, Motorola will combine 4 pixels in one to deliver 8 megapixel shots. It does 4K video, which is a plus. While at the back side, we find triple cameras. Nowadays, for mid-rangers, we're starting to see more and more dual cameras. We have here a 50 megapixel main camera with f1.8 aperture and optical image stabilization, plus something called multi-directional phase detection autofocus. There's a 10 megapixel telephoto camera here with f2.0 aperture, phase detection autofocus, and 3x optical zoom, plus once again optical image stabilization. The third camera is the ultra-wide one, f2.2 aperture, 120 degrees, and autofocus, meaning it can take macro shots. This is the LED flash, and we have a 4K 30 frames per second capture available here as the top type of capture. Now, the options are pretty straightforward. You see them on all Motorola phones over the past year. Night vision, dual capture photo and video, long exposure, spot color photo and video, ultra resolution shots, tilt shift, scanning documents, panorama, photo booth, and time lapse. The Pro mode lets you play with exposure, ISO, shutter speed, white balance, and focus. We have a portrait mode here. We have a photo mode here as well, which lets you switch between color profiles. We got auto enhance or natural color profiles. And then there's the video section where, as I said before, you can tweak between the, well, we also have HDR10 plus support. We have stabilization, regular one, or horizon lock. It's interesting that you can either have stabilization on or as adaptive or horizon lock. There's no way of deactivating it completely from what I see. There's also slow motion here. Now, with this out of the way, I think it's time to address the software. It's running on Android 14, just so you know. And you can see it here. So Android 14, you should get 2 years of updates, unlike the Motorola Edge 15 Neo, which gets something like 5 years, which is pretty amazing. And it has Hello UI on top. What is Hello UI? Well, let me get straight to it. For starters, you can go to this area here. And this is the core app, the Moto app, where you can do the tweaks. So you can personalize everything. You can personalize the themes, the fonts, the colors, the icon shapes, even the lock screen with these clock faces and all that. Shortcuts and more, display text and size, layout, sounds, and a dark mode. Then we have the gestures here. Quick launch, sidebar, quick capture, flashlight, lift to unlock, and more. And then Moto Secure with a secure folder, network protection, phishing detection, pin pad scramble, and more. It even has a sort of scanner for your well-functioning. And then we have the display options, attentive display and edge lighting. The edges will light up when you're getting a notification. And gamers also have their own dedicated area with my games, but also with a bunch of settings. So you can go here, you can see the game time, which is basically a side window with extra options related to the, well, performance of the game. You can do screen recording, you can even change your voice, block calls, and do audio enhancements. Okay, that's enough for the Moto app. There are more apps here. So there's Family Space. You can create a profile for your grandpa or your grandkid or your son and see them on the map and have them communicate, each of them with their own space and limitations and restrictions, parental control that is. Then we have the Moto Secure, which you saw before, and of course the Moto Unplugged. Basically, if you're sick and tired of notifications and you want to quiet the noise, you're going to be left only with the basic apps, music, phone calls, messages, and maybe notes. And you can start your session of being unplugged and all quiet and silent and peaceful. Then we have the Smart Connect from Lenovo. This used to be Ready 4, but together Motorola and Lenovo brought forth a vision that unites the PC with the phone. So you can do app streaming from the phone to the PC. You can also do more things. For example, you can do mobile desktop, a full desktop experience accessible via PC, organize apps, files, and more. You can have the phone completely mirrored on the PC. You can use the phone as a webcam, transfer files, use the phone as a hotspot, lock your PC with the phone, share a clipboard, and use the cursor control on a tablet, laptop, and phone at the same time. Plus the share hub and the display section with the Miracast. You can mirror your phone with Miracast technology or Chromecast on displays and TVs. You can even simulate a sort of desktop environment with a mouse, keyboard, and use the phone as a touchpad. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. This feels like a traveler's phone and maybe even a gaming phone on account of the Snapdragon Accelerated Edition. I mean, the camera is promising. You have ultra-wide, you have telephoto, you have a main camera with optical image stabilization, and you also have productivity features plus some extras for music and gaming. It feels like a pretty complete mid-range phone, and the other Motorola Edge 50s were also rather good in the camera department. Plus, it's also a looker on account of the curved screen with narrow bezels and the beautiful green backside. So this could be the complete mid-range phone. It depends very much on the price they're going to sell it at, and I actually wanted more years of updates, not just 2. I may be wrong, but we'll get back to that soon. That's it from us. Goodbye.